Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for Monday, the 21st day of June, 2021. Well, happy summer solstice. That's today. Jupiter also goes retrograde today, so Jupiter's really expansive, and so this what when it goes retrograde, it's really a time of inner reflection. So work your intentions there, and it'll be retro for quite a while. So it's not like it's a 3 week time period like Mercury is. Mercury retrograde ends tomorrow, but there'll still be some shadow effect. And you'll note if you were here for the esoteric influences video, or if you read them on the blog or wherever you get them, if you get them in the newsletter. You know that Mercury is bothersome all week long. Interactions are difficult all week long, and you need to really be aware of not only excuse me, how you come across, but to not take the bait. Remember, it's not just you that feels this way. Everybody does. And so it's almost like this is just a really iffy period, so it's kind of watch your tongue, watch your tone, think before you speak. Those kinds of ideas need to be, in the forefront of your thinking pretty much all week long. We have Uruz as the rune for today. And so Uruz is it means the oryx, it's strength, it's energy shaping matter. I think it's Thorson called it drizzle. It's the thought pattern behind the manifestation. So it's the spirit. It's basically the area of spirit informing the process and deciding, okay, I'm going to go and experience thus and so. It's that process that's Uruz. So it's way before the actual manifestation of something. So you can just think of it as the thought process behind it. So today you can think in terms of perception, I guess. How are your perceptions managing or creating your experience that you have? Let's see what our geomancy rune is for today. Where is fire? There is fire. So here we're looking at conjunctio, so joining or union. Let's see if we can find that here in the jar. Oh, here it is. Or in the dish, not the jar. That's conjunctio. You see passive influence above there with the two dots on fire, then air, and then water are both active influences. So we actively come together. And then the lower two is earth. So it's arranged in fire, air, water, and earth. And here, so then the fundamental thought of who we are to one another is in unity, right? That's who we are. We might not realize that or remember that, while we're in form. And it's kind of the struggle that we have to, in fact, understand that we are the other side of self to someone else, and everyone else around us is our other side of self. Instead, we get confused and see the individuality and think that they're the other. You see what I mean? So then the fundamental manifestation, the thought process behind that, really realistically with these two runes, then is one of unity with one another. So it's the oneness that we all share in the Creator and in the creative spark that we are. That's what the soul is. It's just extensions of the Creator into form, to know more about life in tangible form, basically. What is the experience of duality? What is that like, to go from singularity to duality? How does that all manifest? What are the pitfalls of it? What's the downside? What's the upside, of having that experience? So let's go ahead and take our first three cards and see what we have. Well, we start with the King of Swords. Now, the Queen of Swords is going to be somebody that's going to be taking no prisoners. She expects honesty, but this guy is a little askew of that, isn't he? Sword's not totally up and down, and he's also not looking to sin the eyes. You see the clouds of deception behind him. You see Hugin and Munin. flying above there. And I think that, swords is the air element, and you're talking about intellect, you're talking about communication, interaction, justice, fairness, balance, and the king is going to be less so than the queen. He's going to be somebody that although he can have integrity, maybe he doesn't. He's analytical, he's certainly an authority figure, he's powerful, he's logical, he's usually the boss. But I'm always bothered by the fact that the sword is a little bit off to the side there, and he's not looking you in the eye. That part bothers me. So it tells me that there could be some manipulation there on his part. So that's either referring to yourself and your own ability and how you handle authority, or this is describing somebody in your life. But then again, it could just be the qualities therein, of using your logical side to understand something, to be able to analyze something in a way that then you can then explain to other people. Maybe if this is about a supervisor or something that has to be able to do that. Well, here we have the Fool, undeveloped potential. We'll see if we keep this in the same order as what we're pulling them. But you see the Fool standing on the precipice. You see the sun above. Now, here you have, in a way, all right, the fundamental expression of urus and conjunctio in the Fool. Because there you have a zero type of an experience. You have a wholeness, unity with those two, because you're manifesting unity, basically. Okay, that you're making that choice to have that be what your manifestation is. And so here, he doesn't even know what gender he is yet. He hasn't taken the leap into form yet. His dog is at his side. His knapsack is over his shoulder. He's holding a rose in his left hand. Again, the sun is shining. And he's not even looking downward. He's trusting the process. He's trusting that his soul has made the right decision as to who he's going to be. I say he, even though it's androgynous. It's genderless at this point. But it's just easier to call him he. But he doesn't know what he's going to do yet. He doesn't know if he's going to be male or female. He's about to take that leap into form, although he's likely chosen it, but he's not there yet, right? He's still in his soul form, all right? And then from there, he's going to take that leap. He doesn't even have to look. He trusts the process. He knows that this is something that he chooses freely, and he's willing to accept the consequences of the choice he's making. Is this guy? The nice part about the Fool is the undeveloped potential of him, and the grace with which he takes that leap. From there you have the Magician. It's sort of a triplicity there between the Fool, the Magician, and the High Priestess. You have the Magician who takes the elements and builds the body, if you will, and the High Priestess then infuses the subconscious or unconscious into the form, the physical form. And so together they're imbuing that soul into that body, essentially. And from there, then the leap of faith is taken down through the abyss. And then we have, at that point, we have the Empress who gives birth to the world. From there, you start to see other issues. Next, you have the Emperor, who you will see is not part of that process of giving birth to the world. That's the goddess energy. All right? That's the feminine principle. Now that you're in form, now you're into the feminine domain, as much as patriarchy wants to say that's not true. But we are. And now you're starting to see some of that come back. Well, all of it needs to come back, but they fuss about that, don't they? The patriarchy, it's like, oh, no, we're in charge. No. It's an illusion. So then here we have the Ten of Cups is the third card. So we're kind of all over the place here, aren't we? 10 is new beginnings. Here you see the family, the kids are dancing, mom and dad are holding their arms up, looking at their new home and over there. They're emotionally fulfilled here. You see the cups embedded in the rainbow. 10 golden chalices. Cups is the water element, and so it's talking about emotions and our intuition and our empathy, compassion. It's also about momentum and change. I mean, just think how water can cut through something and create massive change if it floods an area, for example. So it can be calm, it can be rocky, it can be not rocky, but it can be all over the place. You know, you can think a calm pond versus the waves crashing on the shoreline, you see. But here with the 10, that's new beginnings. It reduces to 1. And so now we're beginning again. We've come full circle, basically. We have done what we've needed to do. We've made our plans. We've gotten married. We've had children. And now we have a home to move into. And everything is great. Everything, the leap of faith that was taken has manifested into unity and the family and the fundamental structure for society, basically. Because conjunctio is more than just uniting with one person. This has a bigger feel to it, to me, at least to me. And so the manifestation that we're having, tomorrow is a 22 energy. It's the cosmic builder. It's also, again, end of Mercury retrograde. But with that, we're talking about profound soul level change. And here, it's almost like it's signaling the direction that needs to go in terms of healing the differences between all of us and having some, semblance of family when all is said and done. So I'm not sure yet what the King of Swords has to do with all of this. We've taken the leap of faith. Let's put the Fool first. We'll take the leap of faith with the Fool into the undeveloped potential. And the potential really has a choice here. We can be analytical and powerful and clever and have integrity and take command of our lives, or we can have that be just a little bit askew and maybe be a little bit manipulative. We don't want to do that. I suspect the next card I draw is going to probably modify or support this king, what the message there is. So maybe it'll define that a little bit better. But as we do that, as we get all of that in order, we then can have happiness and fulfillment. Right now, we only have a 1 energy for the whole thing. So again, new beginnings. And maybe the new beginnings have to do, especially with the King of Swords, that we have to be a little more careful in our planning. That's another thing with swords, is making, being able to analyze your path and to understand whether or not, okay, is the process right? Am I headed down the right? Am I on the right track? In other words, what I'm trying to achieve there, through careful analysis, I can get there. And the two of us, we can provide for our children. We can create a new home together and have happiness and fulfillment. So let's see what the challenge is. Well, okay, the challenge card is the ninth card of the major arcana, the Hermit. And again, I was right. This is going to align with the King of Swords. It's about being able, when you're a person in authority, sometimes what you have to do, well, probably a lot of the time what you have to do, is you have to be able to step back and look at what's going on, right? You have to see the bigger picture to know the direction that the people under your charge, that you're supervising, for example. If you are say a project manager or something, you have to have the vision to then tell the rest of the folks under you, here's what I want you to do. This is the goal. This is how we need to get there. And maybe you give them the autonomy to get there on their own, or maybe you provide a lot of guidance, but someone has to keep people on that track. And that, I think, is what the King of Swords can do. Now, sometimes what you have to do is you have to step back and and look at the bigger picture in order to do that. So this is challenging the Fool and the King of Swords, basically, and maybe it's really challenging the King of Swords to then be able to step back, see the bigger picture from a humanitarian standpoint. Understand this is not simply about you, because sometimes the King of Swords ends up like that. It's all about him. The kings are like that. You see it with the King of Pentacles in particular. You know, his stuff is all around him. His wealth is all around him. His back is to the kingdom. You know, and it's like he's not even concerned with them. He's concerned with his own happiness and security. And he could be benevolent to the kingdom, and maybe in some, depending on the other cards around him, maybe he is, but maybe not. Right? Maybe not. And here, for the King of Swords, since analysis is part of his function, then maybe you need to step back and take a look. You see he's holding his lantern there with the Merkaba, lighting the lantern. Well, that's the soul vehicle, basically, the Merkaba is. And here he is. He's standing atop a mountaintop, and he's looking down upon the land below, his world below. And he's allowing the light of spirit to shine down on it and to illuminate his awareness. The Hermit's about retreat. It's about withdrawal. It's about taking a step back and being sure and seeing the bigger picture, which and so that's why I think it's actually modifying the King of Swords there and showing that we're talking about something that is a little bit more I think it's specific to him, and it involves because the other way, you know, if you're going to live a directionless life, if soul is not going to be informing your path and it's only ego doing that, then the odds of getting here are pretty slim. The odds of manifesting in unity with other people will likely also not be, you know, even in your mindset, right? It's going to be all about you. Let's do the benefit card here. And I want it to be random, so I'm going to take the 13th card. I need to fan a bit. Hold on. Oh, yes, you know, crone years. They're so much fun, aren't they? Yeah, the witch gets a hot flash right in the middle of the reading. Well, here we have the Wheel of Fortune. And I think that that's going to align well. It's not only the 10th card, it's all, you know, it aligns well with this 10th card, doesn't it? You come full circle here. It's the same with the World, in that only here you have the wheel that turns. It shows it basically with the 8, well, it's the 8-spoked wheel. So you have the hermetic glyphs for just like you do in the World card. You'll see it on that one as well. Only the center is different. The center is essentially the Fool come full circle. All right. And you see an androgynous form, looks like a woman though, and she's in the center of a garland with lemniscates, figure eights on the top and bottom. All right, and the garland is unbroken, and so it's here we're coming full circle. We do the same thing here with the wheel. Only with the Wheel of Fortune, it really has to do more with It has to do with fortune and prosperity, so it's the interim before you get to the 21st card, which is the World. But this is about success, and I think that once we take that leap into something unknown, all right. Now we'll talk about the Fool a little bit different way, so we'll just start over. So the Fool takes a leap of faith, but we're the Fool in that we are taking the leap of faith perhaps into a marriage. We're taking a leap of faith into this part of the union, all right? This part of the conjunctio. This is our Uruz moment where we've made the decision that we want to marry someone. We've found the person we want to marry. We want to build a life. We want to have children. We want to have a home. We want to have success. But in order to do that, we have to make good decisions, don't we? We have to take command of our lives. We have to understand what's going on in it. We have to see the bigger picture. And then we can end up like this, where we're happy and we're fulfilled and our family is secure, and emotionally everybody's doing well together, everybody's happy. And it's because we took that step backward to take a look at the bigger picture and have spirit inform the process instead of ego informing the process, because it can go either way with this guy. All right, it can either be ego or it can be spirit, but in this case the challenge is to let spirit inform the whole thing. And when we do, we have success. It's like we get out of the way of ourselves interfering with the process, and we are able to think about other people within the whole thing. And in that case, we're talking about the family. So I would say then that to begin the week out, there could be something that's happening here where you're having to make a decision about something, and you need to get the biggest view of it you can. So you need to take a step back. Don't listen to people. In other words, make your own observations, do your own research, and figure out just exactly, what you need to do to build that future that you want. And if it indeed includes marriage or something, but the idea here is that whatever you're doing is going to be in service for the future. So think about that, and think for and we'll come back together on Thursday and see where we are in this process. But evidently something is about to unfold today, something that has potential that you don't yet know. And so again, do your research, take command of the situation. Don't just simply listen to other people. Go and do your own research on it, and see what you really think. Take a step back. Be aware of all of the factors involved, and then take that leap of faith and into that new experience. And I mean, in this case, it's sort of just suggesting that there's a marriage and there's family and there's decisions that are made, and now the family is secure. But it doesn't have to be that way. The family could be, the people you work with, or something that's happening between neighbors or something, or between extended family or friends or whatever. But something is about to unfold here, something with some undeveloped potential that has the potential for success if you're able to analyze the situation, get out of your own space on it, your own subjective view of it. The Hermit is also about standing back and gaining some objectivity, so get rid of the subjectivity of it, and then you should be able to be successful in whatever this is that you're doing. I think it's general enough, to say, well, this is about coming together, in alignment with other people. So maybe if this is a project at work, you have a group that's gotten together and they're going to work on something together. But again, you have to have somebody that can see the bigger picture and drive that whole experience. And maybe that's you. So anyway, let's just see though. Let's see. We'll come back together on Thursday and see if what we can add to this, and see if we can define this a little more. But it sure looks like something is beginning that, again, if you're able to get out of the way of it and think rationally about it, it could be something that could give your family security or you security, or some kind of a measure of financial success or reward. So I guess that's it. I didn't know how the King factored in, and I had a feeling before I pulled the Hermit that would talk about the King, and I think I'm right about that. So anyhow, cool. Thanks for watching. Do check out the blog. The forecast goes up Monday through Friday there. Over on Patreon, the magical correspondences go up Monday through Friday there. If you want to join me over there, that's $1 a month. You can join just monthly, or you can join for the whole year, however you want to do it. I also write over on Medium. There's an esoteric forecast that goes up Monday through Friday there. And I guess that's it. Links are below the video here. Just click on that show more. And like, I guess we're supposed to be telling everybody to please like our videos, not just subscribe, but to like them as well. I don't know why, but anyway, that's important, I guess. I always do. When I see videos on YouTube, I always like them, because I just want to communicate that, I guess. So do that, please. Anyway, thanks for watching. And we'll get together on Thursday. So be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.